My name is Agrit Tiwari. I came from a startup called Tractor Junction. I know no one of you have heard about this startup, but who cares? R-
This company was doing here, Tractor Junction.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that later. Let's just jump into the topic, like navigating your way with React navigation and Expo router. I just want to have a rough idea, like how many of you are working in React Native right now? Okay, and uh, how many of you have any idea about React navigation and Expo router, both of them? Okay, great. So what I will try to, tell you about from this talk is to give a mind map about navigation while dealing with the, native application, obviously with React Native. So to give a baseline, a structure, navigation is just the structure of how the data can be accessed, retrieved by any client, be it web or any React Native client. So just for to give an example, Amazon, you go to amazon.com or .in, the whole page gives you a certain preview of all the products that are listed on that, and the further pages have the detailed basically description of the products. So you tell about like how you want to display the data to the user, how the user should access that particular data on the site. So the choice of that structure depends on business case first. That is very important. Second is user experience. How do you want your site to be experienced by the user? And third is platform. Is it web or is it Android? So there are primary three navigation ways, like how you can set up navigation in your React Native application. First is tabs, second is drawer, third is a stack. I will try to give you an overview of them, right? So stack is like this. Uh, Consider a pile of paper, regular papers. So what you have done is you have written data on all the pages, but to read the data on second page, you just have to remove the first page. Is that clear to everyone? Right? So second one is drawer, right? You have dedicated compartments in your drawer navigation. So in first drawer or first compartment, you have a dedicated data that you want to display it to the user, and so on goes with the follow-on compartments. The third one is tabs. So I know this is not the appropriate description what you have imagined about tabs. So you can see in the first image, the first tab or the first drawer, which is represented in tabs form, has tools in that. And second is empty. First one, who knows what is in there, right? The another image is to, just to give you a context. Like I have, posted three books in the image just to set a exactly, you can differentiate from a drawer and a stack. So drawer can have related context to each other, but tabs are dedicated basically services or the product features that you want to display in your application. So comfort crisis is a whole set of different book that will give you different basically context. Can't hurt me is totally different. So what I am trying to sell you is the tabs bar of WhatsApp. You can say one is dedicated to chat, second is dedicated to status, third is dedicated to calls, and fourth is I don't know, I don't use that, right? So I will, continue with React navigation. React navigation was the first navigation setup for React Native apps. It is also, built by Expo. What it is the library to implement navigation on React Native that I told you. Sorry, it's my first talk. Kindly ignore the stutter. So to understand the navigator, uh, of the React Native navigation, there are primarily three things that you should put in your glossary. First is navigator, second is navigation state, third is the navigation prop, and fourth is the route prop. So navigator is basically the structure of your whole app that you set up in your code base. Second is the navigation state, like at any given point of time, what is the state of your navigation, which screen are you active on. Third one is navigation prop. This is the prop that you will use. It is basically an object that is provided by the navigator setup that you have, built in your code base. So you will use that navigation prop to basically operate or, move your user across various screens of the app. And fourth one is the route prop. Route prop is the prop which gives context to the whole navigation setup. So the properties that route prop holds will basically binds your whole app, giving threads and context like params to it, so that the whole experience is well connected to it. So these are all related to screens, as I told you. So enough about the theory of that. What should we do to implement React navigation in our React Native app? Define your navigators with TypeScript. I think everyone loves TypeScript. So what I have done is given a basic implementation of navigator via React navigation. So React navigation provides two major, what should I say, modules. First one is related to dedicated screen props. Like as I told you, there are three dedicated navigators. So there are three dedicated screen props. Like dedicated props are attached to the dedicated navigator. So in this example, you can see I have imported drawer screen props and native stack navigation prop and native stack screen props. So, uh, continuing on that, you have to define your like you are traversing through your app, you would have a stack navigator like a pile of pages. So these are individual screens of your app which needs to be told to the your app that we are defining in our the TypeScript file of our navigator. So root stack param list is that. So I have declared a drawer which has a screen which is reports which accepts params, all the params that are covered in root stack param list. So the whole param list of the root stack, whatever the screens are listed in that, drawer will accept all those props. Uh, Other screens that I have listed in root stack param list are view PDF screen. Like when you want to view a PDF on a whole screen, so you have mentioned in that. This is the beginning of writing any navigator. You should type that early in the programming that. Second is generate reports. These are business related logics. You have defined your screens early. As I told you, there's this drawer navigator. I would show you. I have run that example. So I have defined a drawer with three screens: profile, reports, and analytics, which is basically a use case for every app, right? So these are the props that we build using the libraries or the props that navigation gives us. As I told you, drawer screen props was there, native screen props are there. So what these types do is give you the intelligence to your screen to basically have that navigation prop and route prop in your screen so that you can perform actions on it in your app. So then what should I do? Simply implement the navigator. Yeah. So in this course, is it visible at the end? Visible? Let me know if I am giving boring lecture, please. It's all right now? Yeah. So the screens that I showed you are listed in this types.ts file, and this is the file where I have given the navigator. So there is this root navigator, and it is wrapped with navigation container. And root navigator consists of uh, basically the screens that are composed in that root stack. First one is drawer. So the primary screen that would any user would land in our app is the drawer. So drawer, you can see the component is drawer navigator, and I have initialized drawer navigator as well. So which consists of profile screen, report screen, analytics screen. So the advantage of writing that TypeScript file that I showed you earlier is to have that intelligence in your while writing your navigator. You will see and you won't make any mistake while defining the whole structure of your navigator by focusing defining the type of your navigator earlier, right? So I have shown you the navigator. Just see, I guess I have run this. Is it visible? Yeah. So this is the first screen of that drawer, and I have defined it in the navigator itself. I didn't make any mistake in the navigator just because of the TypeScript file that I had written. So you can see that reports is the initial file because I have defined it. So you can go to profile. So these are part of the drawer screen navigator, but there's this button called manage reporters. So you can access this edit reporters file from anywhere because it is defined in the root stack navigator, right? So you get the idea of how the navigation is working in React Native app using React navigation. Uh, you got the idea, right? Okay. So I want to, if anyone has any question regarding React navigation, you can ask. No, just let me know if there is any doubt or any, misclarity from my side. Okay, moving on. There's this Expo router. This is the new file-based router for React Native apps. It was, I guess yeah, Evan Bacon from Expo, celebrating his anniversary for launching this Expo router recently. So this router is a whole next level because it gives you cross-platform navigator support out of the box. API is fantastic. It's a wrapper over that React navigation. So I think you should check that out. I will give you a demo of that. The important thing to get out of this talk is to have a mind map of how we can use Expo router. The goal is similar, is to establish navigation across your app. So the screen components in this Expo router are called page in app directory. Whenever you create a component in app directory, there's this folder in the Expo router. Whenever you create any file in that with the .tsx, it would become a screen. Like earlier, it does not matter if you are defining a screen because you cannot access until you define that screen in your navigator. But in app router, as this is cross-platform supported, so you will be able to access that screen via in your web interface just by adding that particular name of that file on the router on the URL bar. So as I told you, it automatically becomes a route. And as this is which I told you. So the important part about Expo router is that it provides a layout. What I should say, it's a layout architecture. Has anyone used or built using app router of Next.js? Yeah, so you got the idea, like you define the whole structure of the screens that are under that influence of that layout route on that root level. You can define the footer, you can define the markup basically, which is to be shared across the files that are declared or initialized under that route. It behaves as the same way, but Expo router provides cross platform support out of the box. Earlier I showed you you have to define and type that whole navigation setup and build that navigator. But with Expo router, what you have to do is just define that navigator in the root layout setup. There's this file. Let me show you. So this is the app that I have currently built for you to explore and check out. I am also going to contribute to it. There's this layout file. So what you can do is you can define your layout. Layout means the layout for your navigation to basically access the whole screens that you are defining in your app. So you can see I have defined a root layout nav here, in which I have defined stack screens. As you know, stack screens are individual screens laying around in the app. So I have defined that. But the you can see the default component of root layout that I have exported. There's this condition. I am using platform API of React Native to basically give different conditional layouts depending upon which platform it is accessed upon. So if the platform is Android, I am returning tab layout. If the platform, I mean, it automatically says if the platform is not Android, it will return this root layout. To not, you know, complex things up, I will avoid that live coding, right? So what I would ask you to is to scan this QR code and download the app. I would want you to, have the live experience of the power that Expo router gives you. If just download this app and see how the navigation is there in the app. So when you download that app, right, you will have a warning that it is not safe. Don't worry, I'm not going to access any data, right? Just download this and there will be a pop-up that you have to, press and install anyway. Press on install anyway. Uh, Sorry to, for iOS users, it is only for Android. I mean, Android rocks. Yeah. So have anyone downloaded this app? I am not going to, show that Android layout in this because it is a whole mess to live code an Android app. But I will, go to this URL that I have mentioned here. Using the same code base that I have shown you, you can check out in your mobile app, the app that you have downloaded. Who has downloaded the app? So you can see in your app that there is the primary tab navigator, uh, right? So I am using that same navigator setup conditionally, declared in that layout route. So you can see there is no tab navigator here, right? Because it is running on web. I have, conditionally given different layouts for navigator for different platforms. Same code base, different navigation. So you can basically cater all the requirements that you have while building web experience and Android experience. And you can, go on to build many things. So you can try out the tab navigation and the whole thing is same. The primary file that you have and I have is similar, but the navigation setup is different. You can explore this app. So I have pressed on that, first list. So what it does is by default, it will load the stack of that, the folder that I have defined. So all the stacks, all the screen, it will, load by sequence. So the last screen was login. So I have navigated to that. But if I pressed on this, the native back action given by the navigator Expo router, I will land back on the first screen, right? And then on the default screen which I was coming from. But if I go from here and press the navigation of the browser, I will land back on where I pressed. So these are the nuances that Expo router provides. You can see these kind of behavior in Twitter applications as well. So you can check that out and give various, try this. Expo router is awesome, right? I'm closing. If you have any questions, please raise your concerns.